PAS in the workplace. Good morning. I want to switch our focus now to looking at what happens with PAS in the workplace. This presentation will summarize the approaches to our research and the findings of this project within the center, which is looking at the issues of PAS in the workplace. These findings will include barriers to PAS in the workplace, as well as some initial promising practices that we've identified to having PAS in the workplace. Definitions of PAS can be confusing, and they can be even more so when talking about what happens in the workplace. This is our working definition for workplace personal assistance services. They include task-related assistance at work, such as readers, interpreters, help with lifting and reaching, reassignment of non-essential duties to coworkers, and other help related to performing work tasks, and may include personal care-related assistance, such as helping someone with eating, drinking, or using the restroom while at work. Items that are listed there are just examples, however, and can include other things like work-based support specific to a disability, which may be particularly important in the case of psychiatric disabilities, where the support of another person is crucial to the understanding and success at work tasks. At the start of the center 4 years ago, there was not that much known about workplace PAS. We knew that PAS is dealt with as an accommodation by companies. In fact, as this quote up on the board says, PAS was known to be part of the accommodation spectrum, and there was an identification that there was a growing awareness of the needs of PAS at work. But what's clear is we don't know as much about the need and use of workplace PAS as we know of other accommodations, most specifically assistive technology as an accommodation. There are not good statistics noting how many people receive workplace PAS, how many need it, how many could work if they had it, or how successful people are with it compared to without it. But now through this project, we've been able to identify and have assembled an annotated bibliography of 95 articles dealing with all manner of workplace PAS and a library of over 100 papers and other resources, and conducted interviews, focus groups, and surveys of employers, people using PAS at work, and employment system professionals. Those articles and papers are available at the PAS Center website, www.pascenter.org. There are a few issues that are driving the need for workplace PAS. First, if we look at the lack of employment of people with disabilities, we know from the American Community Survey in 2005 data that of those who are aged 18 to 64 in the United States, people with a disability are employed at about half the rate of those without a disability, 37.9% to 71.7%. We also know, although the unemployment rate is not vastly different, 6.3% for people with disability, 5.1% for people without a disability, the real story seems to be who is not in the labor force. More than half of people with a disability are not in the labor force, 55.7%, compared with about 1/5 of those with no disability, 22.8%. In fact, 12,374,000 people with a disability aged 18 to 64 were not in the labor force, which constitutes 30.1% of all those people who are not in the labor force in that age group of 18 to 64. Another issue is the aging of the workforce, the advancement of the baby boomer generation, the desire of organizations to retain special, hard-to-replace skills and knowledge, and the potential for uncertainty for individuals as to when it is best to retire, make for a workforce that is aging. Aging workers will start to need services and technologies to allow them to continue to work. Another item is that is retaining valuable injured or ill workers. Workplace injuries and illnesses continue to put companies in the position of needing to provide services and technologies to allow those valuable employees to continue to work. The transition of students with disabilities will provide a new supply of new workers ready and capable of working, but possibly in need of services and technologies. And as people are moved out of institutions into independence, there will be the logical next step, employment and self-sufficiency. There will be a need for PAS in this workplace population as well, for the workplace population. The public policy context for workplace PAS is the following. The Americans with Disabilities Act provided that employers with 15 or more employees must make a reasonable accommodation for qualified workers with disabilities. It mandated that employers provide benefits to or take steps to respond to the needs of individuals so that they're able to perform essential job functions. So work task related PAS is emphasized in this. It particularly stays away from personal care types of services, however. The Workforce Investment Act, 1998, established one-stop employment and training centers to provide centers and supports for all workers, including those with disabilities. The Ticket to Work and Work Incentives Improvement Act of 1999, TWIA, reduced the disincentive to work, or is trying to reduce the disincentive to work by making affordable health care coverage available to persons with disabilities through Medicaid buy-in programs. It also established the Medicaid Infrastructure Grants, the MIGs, which are supporting states to provide services to support working persons with a special emphasis on PAS. As of the last report, 39 states have at least started a planning process in some facet of PAS through their MIG. An example brochure of the California MIG and what they are doing is over on the table over there if you're interested. The New Freedom Initiative of 2001 was aimed at helping Americans with disabilities by increasing access to assistive technologies, expanding educational opportunities, and increasing the ability of Americans with disabilities to integrate into the workforce, and promoting increased access to daily community life. Now, we do know a little bit about the need for PAS in the workplace. This is data from 1994, however. It's the 1994-95 NHIS-D. And as you can see, in terms of what % of workers with disabilities receive workplace PAS, overall, in terms of any kind of accommodation, 15.6% needed it and 12.2% received it. But in terms of personal assistance for job tasks, 1.1% needed it, 0.7% received it. So there was a shortfall there. For readers and interpreters, another type of personal assistant, 0.2% received the accommodation, 0.1% did not, or 0.2% needed it, 0.1% did receive it. In terms of job coach, 0.6% needed it and 0.6% received it.